Imagine a world 4 million years ago. This isn't just a landscape. It's the stage where our story.
Meet Australopithecus afarensis, our distant ancestors. They're not quite human, but they're taking monumental steps, literally. Walking upright wasn't just a novelty. It was a revolution, freeing up their hands for something truly special.
With hands free, they could gather more efficiently, turning a simple stroll into a foraging feast.
The woodlands offered shelter and sustenance, but also hidden dangers. Every step was a careful calculation. They hadn't forgotten their tree-dwelling past. Trees were still their refuge, their playground, and sometimes their pantry.
Resourcefulness was key. A simple broken branch became their first tool for extracting hidden nutrients.
A protein boost. Even a basic stick tool changed how they accessed food. This was proto-tool use in action. High ground meant a better view. And in this world, seeing danger first was the best defense. Other life teemed on the savanna. Their eyes were constantly searching, interpreting every movement in the landscape. Water meant life, but also increased risk. Every visit to the watering hole was a calculated risk. Even while drinking, vigilance was key. The biggest predators loved to lurk near vital water sources. And lurking in the depths, silent danger. The colossal crocodiles of 4 million years ago were truly terrifying. A sixth sense, perhaps? A ripple in the water, a subtle change in the air. Their lives depended on hyper-awareness. A crucial warning. Simple communication saved lives, a fundamental block of their social structure. Up was safe. Their mixed arboreal and terrestrial skills gave them options in the face of danger. There it was. A stark reminder of the ever-present dangers in their world. Sometimes, the smartest move was simply to abandon a resource and find a safer option. The open plains were beautiful but exposed. They used the landscape itself as their shield. A discarded bone, a remnant of a larger predator's meal. For them, it was a potential opportunity. Not a crafted tool, but an opportunistic one. This bone helped them tap into a protein-rich snack, termites. Every calorie counted. Termites, a superfood for our ancestors, offered a vital energy boost. On the vast plains, a distant dust cloud could mean anything, from a migrating herd to a dangerous predator on the move. Instinctively, they sought the strongest cover. Stone offered protection where trees were sparse.
A truly formidable predator, Dinophilis, the false saber-tooth. Their massive teeth were designed for taking down large prey.
Holding their breath. One wrong move, one cough, and they would be noticed. Pure survival. The danger passed. Another close call. Another lesson in vigilance and stealth. Every natural shelter was a gift. A brief respite. A chance to gather strength. A simple stone. But even at this early stage, they began to recognize potential in ordinary objects. This was it, the very first spark of technology. Using a tool to access food otherwise out of reach. A monumental step. Accessing new calories, new nutrients, all thanks to a simple stone and an even simpler idea. The ripple effect of innovation. One individual's discovery quickly became shared knowledge. The landscape constantly changed, offering diverse ecosystems and new foraging opportunities. Different biomes, different foods. Here, the marsh offered energy-rich roots hidden beneath the surface.
That simple digging stick was a game changer, opening up an entirely new category of food. A successful haul. These roots would provide much-needed calories and hydration.
But the rhythms of nature were unpredictable. A sudden storm could turn their world upside down. Acacia trees, their natural umbrellas,
offered temporary refuge from the coming deluge. The savanna transformed by the downpour, a cleansing, but also a challenge. Vulnerable to the elements, their social bonds offered essential comfort and protection. The storm passed, leaving behind a freshly washed world, but also new challenges in the slick terrain.
Fresh tracks, a message from the wild. Who passed here? And where were they now?
And sometimes, avoiding danger led them right to a new, abundant food source. A stroke of luck. A true feast. Figs were a fantastic source of energy, and undoubtedly a favorite treat. Still agile in the trees, they reached for the best, maximizing their haul from nature's pantry. Even without knowing it, they played a role in shaping their environment, spreading the seeds of new life. As the light faded, the search for a secure sleeping spot became paramount. The night belonged to other creatures. Up in the branches, they found their safety. Their arboreal past still offered the best defense against nocturnal predators. High above the savanna, nestled among the stars, Australopithecus slept, dreaming of another day, another morning, filled with the promise of food and the ever-present challenge of survival. The cycle continued. From the safety of the canopy to the ground, every transition held its own risks and rewards. Their sense of smell was a vital tool, detecting distant threats or the tantalizing hint of a meal. Water wasn't just in pools. These succulent plants were natural reservoirs, a lifesaver in the dry season. Even processing plants required a simple tool. This stone helped them access every precious drop of moisture. Every bit of water, every nutrient, contributed to their survival in this challenging landscape. The sun grew stronger, demanding constant awareness of the heat and the need for hydration. Childlike curiosity, always at play. But in this world, even a moment's distraction could be dangerous. Staying together meant safety. The group was their primary defense against the wild's many threats. The savanna was a vibrant tapestry of life. Even the majestic giraffes were part of their intricate ecosystem. Other animals were unwitting informants. Their behavior could signal danger or hint at hidden resources.
More than just nuts, seed pods, a new texture, a new taste, all unlocked by that trusty stone.
Seeds were a concentrated energy source, fueling their journey across the vast plains. Sometimes, even accidents led to discoveries. The environment itself could be a tool if observed closely. That flicker of insight, the connection between force and breakage, a rudimentary understanding of percussion. Always seeking the high ground, a natural fortress against the unknown below. Giants roamed this land. The truly enormous Danatherium was a force of nature, best admired from a distance.
Smoke, a recurring mystery. Was it a natural fire, or something more? The answer still eluded them.
Simple communication, yet complex decisions. Every choice shaped their immediate future. Wisdom often meant avoiding the unknown. Better safe than sorry in this wild world.
A hidden refuge. These gullies offered not just cover, but often a cooler, more humid environment.
Nature's perfect tools, just waiting to be discovered. These smooth stones were ideal for pounding and cracking. The act of teaching, of passing on vital skills, cemented their social bonds and ensured survival. Learning was a process of trial and error, guided by patient teachers and an urgent need to survive. Every successful attempt meant more energy, more efficiency. A simple act with profound implications. These moments of peace were hard-won, cherished respites in a world demanding constant vigilance. Even in deep time, the seeds of creativity were there. A simple stick, a shared moment, a connection beyond words. The early foundations of a complex social fabric. Dusk again. The gully's temporary safety would soon give way to the dangers of the night. A perfect tree, strong branches, perhaps even some leftover fruit. Their arboreal sanctuaries were crucial, racing against the dark. Every night, the ascent into safety was a ritual of survival. A daily spectacle, the sheer beauty of their world, a moment of awe for these ancient observers. The nighttime symphony, a reminder of the wild world below and the wisdom of their choice to roost in the trees. Beyond survival, there was connection. These moments of grooming strengthened the bonds that held them together. Secure in their arboreal sanctuary, they faced the long night, dreaming of tomorrow's journey. The silent hunter of the night. Even high in the trees, they were part of a larger ecosystem. For a few hours, the world of danger receded, replaced by the deep, restorative sleep of ancestors.
Under the eternal gaze of the African moon, their story continued to unfold, one peaceful night at a time.
A chorus of dawn. The world slowly awakened, pulling our ancestors back to the reality of another day. With the first light, their planning began again. Where to find food, where to find water, where to be safe. No rushed descents. Every morning began with a critical risk assessment. Masters of both worlds, they moved seamlessly from the safety of the trees to the opportunities of the ground. Every tiny source of water was vital. Even dew-kissed grass offered a little refreshment. A new opportunity. Small rodents, a rare but valuable source of protein, if they could get to them. Another instance of tool use. The stick as an excavator, reaching into the hidden world below.
A rare but significant victory. This small meal meant vital protein and fat.
No individual ate alone. Every meal, no matter how small, reinforced the bonds of the group. The riverine forest, a ribbon of life, promised an abundance of new foods and opportunities. A formidable barrier. Rivers were dangerous, but sometimes the rewards on the other side were worth the risk. Step by careful step, they braved the river, pushing deeper into the varied landscapes of their ancient world. Safely across. Every successful crossing was a small victory, opening up new territories. Inside the forest, a different world. Cooler, shadier, and brimming with its own unique challenges and treasures. The forest floor was a puzzle. Every step had to be carefully placed, every rustle keenly observed. Beauty could be deceptive. In the forest, identifying edible from poisonous fungi was a critical, life-saving lesson. A careful testing process. Their senses were their guides, their internal chemists, in this vast, natural laboratory. Sweet temptation. Wild honey, a rare and energy-rich treat, but not without its dangers. A calculated risk. Getting to that honey meant facing a swarm of angry, stinging defenders. The price of honey. A painful lesson, but sometimes the reward was worth a few stings. Learning from experience, adapting. A simple fanning of smoke might just calm the angry swarm. Success. Sweet, sticky, energy-rich honey. A triumph of observation and adaptation. A moment of pure delight. The taste of victory was sweet, literally, for these ancient foragers. The forest deepened, its secrets waiting to be uncovered, its challenges growing with every step. The sounds of the forest, a symphony of other lives. Was that a warning, or just another call in the wild? A potential weapon, a useful tool. The forest provided natural resources for defense and utility, clearing a path. This simple branch helped them navigate the toughest parts of the forest, making travel easier. A secret spring. Pure, fresh water, a rare and precious find in the depths of the forest.
A moment of peaceful replenishment, far from the dangers of the open savanna watering holes.
A fleeting glimpse of self. The mysteries of reflection, an early spark of awareness. A perfect camp. Fresh water, good cover, and the soothing sounds of the forest around them. Even in relative safety, preparation was constant. Sharpening tools for the day ahead was always a priority.
The forest at night, a canvas of tiny lights. A fleeting beauty, a natural wonder.
Even in their secluded haven, the calls of the great predators reminded them of the raw power of the wild. Their strength was in their unity. In numbers, they found a primal sense of security. The forest awakens, a symphony of light and sound. Another day beckoned, full of life's intricate dance. Rested and ready. The riverine forest, their temporary home, promised even more discoveries.
Nature's ingenious collection system. Even hollows in trees offered a source of clean drinking water.
The challenge of the inaccessible. How to reach that tempting, high-hanging fruit. Problem-solving in action. A simple stick, extended reach, and a lot of determination. Success. A satisfying thud, and a cascade of delicious, ripe fruit now within their grasp. Collaboration brought rewards. Together, they unlocked resources that were impossible for one.
A forest oasis. A sunlit clearing. A brief reprieve from the perpetual shade.
Even in the forest, the sun brought new foods. These tubers were a fantastic underground energy source. Passing on the wisdom. The art of digging, a simple motion, perfected through generations of experience. The joy of learning, the pride of mastering a new, vital skill. Every success built confidence.
A bountiful harvest. These nutritious tubers would sustain them for days.
The unseen danger. The rustle of a snake, a chilling reminder of the silent threads on the forest floor. Perfectly hidden, perfectly deadly. The python, a master of ambush, always a danger. No heroics, just calm, measured retreat. Survival depended on knowing when to avoid a fight. Up was safe. From the trees, they could map out the danger and plan their next move. Safety first. A wide berth, a lesson in respecting the dangers of their ancient, wild world. Another discovery, a sturdy rock shelter, a promise of dry ground and strong walls against the elements.
Always checking. Every new shelter had to be cleared, ensuring it wasn't already home to a predator.
A safe haven found. Their hard-won food and their precious tools secured for the night.
Comfort and security, even in this ancient world. The shelter offered a rare peace.
Curiosity, the mother of invention. Even idle play could spark a new understanding of materials.
That faint echo, a moment of observation. The raw materials were all around them.
From accidental tap to deliberate action. The spark of intention, the beginning of purposeful sound. A shared rhythm, a communal sound. Perhaps the very earliest stirrings of shared expression and ritual.
As night deepened, the sounds of their world faded into the vast silence of prehistory.
Hidden deep within the ancient forest, our ancestors slept.
Another morning in the heart of the forest. The gentle light signaled a new day, new searches, new challenges. Each day began with vigilance. The forest held many secrets and many potential threats. These weren't just random rocks anymore. They were becoming tools, kept and carried, extending their abilities. Following the water's lead. The stream was a guide, promising resources and a path through the dense woods. Nature's hidden treats. These roots offered not just sustenance, but perhaps even medicinal properties. Digging, a skill refined through repetition. Their simple tools became extensions of their will. Raw and unrefined, yet packed with energy. A simple gift from the fertile forest floor. The forest was never truly silent. Every crash, every rustle, demanded their full attention. Back to the trees, their ultimate escape route, offering a temporary shield from unknown threats. A huge forest pig, powerful and potentially dangerous. Better to observe than to confront.
Patience was a virtue, especially when dealing with the heavy weights of the ancient forest.
Never taking chances. The forest demanded constant vigilance, even after a threat had passed. Nature's pathways. The bedrock offered an easier, clearer route through the dense undergrowth. A moment of ease. The smooth rock underfoot, a welcome break from the uneven terrain. Hidden protein. These freshwater mussels were a fantastic, accessible food source. Another tool, another skill. The right stone could unlock a new, nutritious meal. A taste of the river. These soft meats were easy to digest and packed a protein punch.
A rare and welcome abundance. The stream generously provided a hearty meal.
Even accidental discards held potential. The sharp edge of a shell, a natural knife. Experimentation. Could this natural edge be used as a tool? The answer was yes. The forest began to open up, leading them back towards the familiar mosaic of woodland and grassland. Hidden fields of plenty, wild grains, a less obvious but crucial food source for the future.
Small and elusive. Gathering these tiny seeds by hand was inefficient.
Innovation in gathering. Even simple leaves could become effective tools for collecting tiny foods.
Portable provisions. Carrying these seeds meant sustained energy for their travels. The dry season intensified. Even the grasses became crispy, whispering under their feet. Territory disputes. Baboons were formidable, and they knew how to defend their patch. Conflict was costly. Sometimes, the wisest move was to simply give ground and avoid a fight. A harder rock, a sharper edge. The potential for a new kind of tool was literally in their hands. The first true cutting edge. A new level of precision, a revolutionary leap in their technology. Cutting power like never before. This sharp flake transformed their ability to process food and materials. The dawn of a new era. The idea of deliberately flaking stone for sharp edges began to spread.
Trial and error, the path of invention. They were learning the ancient craft of stoneworking.
The joy of creation, the pride of mastery. These early toolmakers were shaping their world, literally, accessing every last bit of nutrition. These sharp tools meant more efficient processing of meat. As the day ended, the hillside held the echoes of their ingenuity, the first workshops of our ancestors. A natural bed, a sheltered spot. The rocky terrain offered protection where trees were scarce. Safety in numbers, and now, the added security of their self-made tools. A new level of preparedness.
A simple stone, yet a monument to ingenuity. the blade that changed everything.
Under the vast, ancient sky, surrounded by the wild's nocturnal symphony, our ancestors found rest.
The morning ritual. Checking their tools, their lifelines in a dangerous world.
Every morning was a fresh start, now armed with a powerful new advantage.
As the forests thinned, new food sources emerged. Tough, nutritious tubers hidden beneath the soil. Every sound in the vast grasslands carried potential meaning. A subtle rustle could signal a small animal.
Every sound in the vast grasslands carried potential meaning. A subtle rustle could signal a small animal.
The movements of distant herds were vital clues. Rich foraging grounds, or even
Dry riverbeds, though desolate, offered unique opportunities. Exposed roots, trapped prey, or the province. Nature provided its own signals. A lone vulture circling high above was a clear indicator. There was a Simple tools opened up entirely new possibilities. A plain rock, wielded with intent, transformed it. The colossal baobab offered more than just a landmark. Its sparse shade provided a brief, precious respite. The colossal baobab offered more than just a landmark. Its sparse shade provided a brief, precious respite. The giants of the savannah inadvertently guided them. Elephant tracks often led to waterholes or areas initiatives. Nothing was wasted in this harsh environment. Even a fresh dung pile could reveal undigested seeds or insects. Arboreal skills remained vital. The young Australopithecus practiced climbing, knowing a tree could offer refuge from predators or access to coveted fruits.
They weren't alone in the forests. Other ancient giants roamed. Creatures like the formidable Gigantopithecus.
After weeks of parched earth, the first scent of rain was a profound promise. A signal that life,
Truthless. Water was life, and securing it was paramount. At dwindling waterholes, a watchful eye.
Sometimes, the smallest meals required the most delicate touch. Stripping leaves, they uncovered hidden protein. As the sun began its descent, the savanna transformed. Lengthening shadows served as a reminder. The savanna nights could be chilling. Huddling together offered not just warmth, but also the profound comfort and security of their close-knit family.
Even in the relative safety of their sleeping sites, the calls of the night predators were a constant.
With each new dawn, the world was reborn. The first light over the plains brought renewed
purposes. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. For these early ancestors, every corner of their world held potential sustenance. A bird's nest, often overlooked, could provide a quick, nutritious meal. Firstly, beyond mere survival, social bonds were paramount. Mutual grooming was a simple yet powerful ritual. Competition for resources was fierce. Sometimes, a display of aggression was all it took to claim a foraging patch from rival primate groups. The weather could turn in an instant. Distant storm clouds, a majestic yet ominous sight, promised. When the rains came, shelter was paramount. Rock crevices and overhangs became their temporary havens. Termite mounds were living pantries. A simple stick could unlock a feast of protein-rich insects. The forces of nature could be terrifying. A lightning strike could ignite the dry grasslands, sending them fleeing from roaring walls of fire. After the fires, or after a long dry spell, new puddles were a gift. Fresh, clean water. Their curiosity was slowly awakening. A sun-bleached skull fragment might hold no immediate value.
As their tools evolved, so did their defense. A sturdy branch, wielded with intent.
Learning was a constant. The young ones, observing and experimenting, slowly mastered the art of finding hidden sustenance in the landscape. The midday sun was merciless. Seeking refuge in the shadows of towering rock formations was a daily ritual. The grasslands held all manner of creatures, some surprisingly large. Even a giant rodent could cause a moment.
The grasslands held all manner of creatures, some surprisingly large. Even a giant rodent could...
Play was never just play. Practicing the throw, even with small stones, was building skills that would one day be critical for hunting and defense.
Vittles. The aftermath of a fire was a stark landscape. The smell of burnt earth lingered, a silent testament to...
Yet, life always found a way. From the scorched earth, new green shoots emerged.
Sometimes, water was found in the most unexpected places. A natural hollow in an ancient tree could become a... The savanna's dangers were ever present. A sudden ambush could turn a peaceful moment into a desperate dash for the safety of the trees. Sometimes, the earth revealed secrets from an even older past. A peculiar rock, unlike any other, spitting sormich. In a life of constant hunger, a full belly was a profound luxury. These moments of satiety...
The ground held hidden dangers. A swift glance, a practiced eye, could mean the difference.
The quality of a tool was paramount. They learned to instinctively test the sharpness of a newly flaked stone, knowing its effectiveness depended on it. Sometimes, the entire group moved. Traversing high ridges offered both a safer path and a crucial vantage point. The aftermath of a fire was a stark landscape. The smell of burnt earth lingered, a silent testament to...
A hollow log could hide a golden treasure. The rare find of honey.
The raw power of the storms was often terrifying. The booming clap of thunder.
Knowledge was passed down through generations. An adult's patient guidance taught the young the essential skills for finding food in the unforgiving earth. The rivers held their own ancient dangers. A fleeting glimpse of a colossal crocodile was enough to instill profound caution near any water source. They learned to improvise with their environment. Even the broad leaves of certain plants could offer temporary shelter. In a life of constant hunger, a full belly was a profound luxury. These moments of satiety...
Learning wasn't just about survival, it was about understanding. The young often mimicked animal sounds.
No stone was left unturned, no log unrolled. Hidden beneath decaying wood lay They were never truly alone. The silent, watchful gaze of a leopard was a constant, terrifying reminder of their place on the food chain. Bipedalism offered more than just speed. It freed their hands, allowing them to carry precious resources back to their group, even heavy burdens.
Minerals were as vital as food and water. They sought out natural salt licks, instinctively knowing these rare spots provided essential nutrients.
Within the group, social hierarchies were established. Displays of dominance, often vocal and theatrical, maintained order without always resorting to violence. Fire, whether by lightning or accident, was a force to be reckoned with. Observing it from a distance, knowledge was their greatest inheritance. Through patient demonstration and watchful imitation, the wisdom of survival was passed to the next generation.
After the fury of the storm, the heavens sometimes offered a fleeting reward. A rain mists.
Their landscape was diverse, and they adapted. Rocky escarpments became both pathways and lookouts. After the chill of night, the sun-warmed rocks were a welcome comfort. A simple pleasure, drawing life-giving heat from the earth itself. Teasers. The hidden treasures of the savanna often required ingenuity. Cracking open a bone revealed precious marrow. Volts. Every unexpected sound sent a jolt of fear. A sudden rolling rock, though harmless, reminded them of beyond basic needs, social comfort was crucial. A mother's gentle grooming was a simple act of love, fostering health and connection. The riverbeds were a resource. They learned to seek out specific stones, smooth and well-formed, recognizing their potential for future use.
Saintius. The calls of the wild were their daily symphony. The distinct, booming call of a hornbill often vocalious.
Nature's grand spectacles unfolded regularly. The thundering migration of millions of animals was a potent reminder.
Even the smallest creatures could pose a significant challenge. A relentless swarm of biting insects could drive them from even the richest foraging grounds. Through trial and error, they began to discern. Certain plants, instinctively recognized, offered resistance. Competition was constant. even for scraps. A display of aggression was often necessary to claim their share from Pliocene. Rest was a vital commodity, taken whenever possible. A brief nap, head cradled on an arm. Some warnings were undeniable. The raised hood of a cobra was a clear, terrifying signal to every little bit counted. They learned to gather and carry, using what was available to store the precious bounty of the savanna for later. Waterways, though sometimes treacherous, were often necessary crossings. They navigated shallow streams with care, testing each step as they went.
Play was not merely recreation. These spirited chases honed their agility and speed, critical skills for the challenges that awaited them as adults.
Even the smallest creatures held fascination. Observing ants, they might learn about their habits, or perhaps even vehicles. Their sense of smell was a vital hunting tool. A subtle change in the wind, a faint scent of prey, safety often lay above. High in the trees, they constructed simple nests, offering protection from the prowling dangers of the savanna night. Not all encounters were peaceful. A territorial baboon could quickly become a formidable and dangerous adversary, demanding respect.
Beyond cutting, stones had other uses. Grinding tough plant fibers or seeds made them.
Patience was a virtue. Watching the smaller, shy antelopes forage taught them about the edible plants and the patterns of their elusive neighbors. The world was a classroom, and every moment offered a lesson. The wide, curious gaze of a child absorbed. The lion's roar was the ultimate warning. It stopped them in their tracks, a chilling reminder of the savanna's ancients. Even small, clean pebbles held value. They might be used for crushing, for a child's game, or
vigilance was a shared responsibility. Two sets of eyes, scanning different horizons, doubled their chances against unseen dangers.
Nature's unpredictable fury could strike without warning. A sudden flash flood demanded immediate, desperate flight to higher, safer ground.
Even the smallest engineers of nature offered lessons. The intricate work of weaver birds demonstrated the power.
Resourcefulness was key to survival. A broad leaf, skillfully used, could become a temporary vessel. The wild dog packs were formidable hunters, swift and relentless. Observing them, even from a distance.
The world was full of tiny wonders. A discarded bird feather, a burst of unexpected color.
Speed was often their best defense. Practicing sprints honed their bipedal agility, a crucial skill for escaping danger or catching small prey. The ancient world held its gentle giants too. A brief glimpse of a colossal land turtle was a reminder. Even tree sap held potential. Sticky resin might be a small, sugary treat, or perhaps they were beginning to discover its adhesive properties. Not all ground was safe. They learned to identify treacherous, quicksand-like patches, guiding their group around these hidden, deadly traps.
Glypsis. Amidst the daily struggle, there were moments of simple sensory pleasure. The delicate scent of wildflowers.
The elements could be unpredictable. A sudden dust devil, though not deadly, demanded swift action to protect.
Every discovery was a step forward. Wild gourds, initially food, slowly revealed their potential.
The rhythms of their bodies were universal. A shared yawn, a simple reflection of their need for rest.
Gorges. The largest birds of the savanna, the ostriches, were masters of their domain. Observing their
natural shelters were invaluable finds. A dark cave entrance, though intimidating, promised protection from predators and the harsh elements. Caution was ingrained in their every move. Before approaching any water source, they learned to test its depth. Their emotions were deeply connected. A shared look of worry spoke volumes, strengthening their resolve to face challenges together. The sweet, succulent taste of wild figs was a seasonal delight. These moments of abundant food were cherished. The sounds of the forest could be startling. A falling branch, though not a predator, could send a jolt of fear through their vigilant senses. Even in play, minds were at work. Tracing patterns in the dust, the young were perhaps taking their first. Compassion was a nascent but powerful force. They cared for their own, even an injured member, knowing the strength of the group lay in its unity. The dry riverbeds often yielded ancient relics. A fossilized tooth, a remnant of a long-vanished. 4 million years ago, a new chapter unfolded. Our ancestors, the Australopithecus, their bodies were a bridge between two worlds, the safety of the trees and the challenging new frontier of the open plains. Walking upright was a revolutionary act, slow and deliberate, but freeing their hands for so much more.
And what a difference those free hands made. Suddenly, they could carry food, tools, or even their young, transforming their efficiency.
Direct hunting was still a distant dream. For now, they were keen observers, waiting for nature's more powerful hunters to make their move. Safety in numbers, and for the young, safety in clinging close. A universal instinct for survival. No food source was overlooked. Every rotting log held potential, a hidden protein snack.
This was the beginning. A simple stone, not shaped, but used. The spark of ingenuity igniting, changing everything.
A small victory, but a momentous one. The first step towards manipulating their world, not just living within it. And the lesson was contagious. Innovation spread, not through words, but through demonstration and imitation. The young were always watching, always learning. The seeds of future toolmakers were already being sown. Water brought life, but also danger. The riverbanks, lush and tempting, were also perfect ambush spots. Every sip was precious, every moment by the water's edge, a calculated risk in the ancient game of survival. A burst of sweetness, a vital energy boost. The rewards of foraging were immediate and delicious.
Danger came from above, too. The sharp eyes of a raptor were a constant reminder of their vulnerability.
Their first instinct was always to find cover. Blending in, disappearing, was often their best defense. What lay on the ground wasn't always just dirt. Sometimes it was a silent record of past struggle. Tools weren't just stones. Anything that could extend their reach, their strength, was fair game for experimentation. Not every experiment was a success, but every attempt, every failure, was a lesson etched into their evolving minds. In this demanding world, their greatest strength was often each other. These quiet moments forged unbreakable bonds. Even in a world of constant vigilance, childhood curiosity and play found their moments.
The ancient rivers held their own silent, scaly threats. Best to give them a very wide berth.
Even tough grasses offered something. Moisture, fiber, or simply a way to pass the time while on the move.
Elevation was always an advantage. A small rise could offer a panoramic view, a fleeting moment of control.
The dust clouds were the savanna's own signals. Sometimes a herd passing, other times
their language wasn't complex, but their communication was profound. Shared thoughts, collective decisions, for the good of all.
Risk and reward. A distant herd meant potential sustenance, but only if they moved with utmost caution.
Amidst the harsh realities, moments of simple sensory pleasure existed. A fragrant flower, a brief respite for the senses. Sometimes, the tools they needed were already provided by nature. A perfect surface for a specific task.
The first true multi-tool setup. An anvil and a hammer. Simple but incredibly effective. Unlocking hidden nutrition.
These were the building blocks of ingenuity. Watching, understanding, and then, one day, doing it themselves. The rewards of their combined effort, shared. A foundational principle of their burgeoning society. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a different kind of hunt began. The search for a secure place to survive the night. For now, the trees were still their truest sanctuary. A final retreat from the dangers that prowled the night. Though they walked the ground, the trees remained their refuge, a testament to their dual nature.
High above the dangers, they settled in. The vast savanna stretched out below, a world preparing for its nocturnal ballet.
The night belonged to the hunters. A distant roar, a chilling reminder of their place in the food chain.
Against such power, Unity was their greatest shield. Clinging together, they found strength in their shared vulnerability.
Each night was a test of endurance, a long vigil until the safety of the new day.
Finally, the sun. With its warmth came a renewed sense of possibility, another chance to explore, to survive, to learn. With the dawn, the trees released their hold. Another night survived, another day of discovery stretching before them. Nature's sweet surprises often lay hidden, waiting for a watchful eye and a quick hand to claim them. Innovation came in many forms. Sometimes it was simply finding the right object, a natural container, to make life a little easier and less. The younger generation was a sponge, soaking up every new technique, every useful trick. The grasslands spoke a language of tracks and trails. Fresh signs meant recent life, and
No morsel was too small. Every calorie counted in their relentless pursuit of sustenance.
the birds were their sentinels. Their cries, an urgent warning that something unseen, something dangerous, was near.
A fleeting glimpse of danger. The predator, perhaps sensing their alertness, chose to move on.
The threat had passed, but the memory lingered. Every encounter sharpened their senses, honed their survival instincts. Some foods were simply too stubborn. Their hands alone weren't always enough against the grasp of the earth. But the mind found a way. A simple stick, transformed into a digging aid, extending their reach and power. The benefits were immediate and collective. A simple tool, opening up new sources of nutrition for all. The lessons were passed down quickly. Observation, imitation, practice, the ancient pathway to mastering new skills. Curiosity was a powerful drive. What secrets did the earth hide in its deep crevices? A hidden protein boost, a reward for their persistence and keen senses. Every small creature, a potential meal.
Some giants simply coexisted. Their path, separate from these colossal, tree-browsing neighbors.
A golden prize, tantalizingly out of reach. The sweetness of honey, a powerful lure, but guarded by its height. For now, the honey remained a dream. Their ingenuity, though growing, still had its limits. As the sun climbed higher, water became the most precious commodity. Sharing it was a gesture of trust, of survival.
The midday sun was relentless. Finding shade, any shade, was essential for conserving energy and enduring the heat.
The midday heat demanded stillness, a time for rest, for conserving precious energy, for simply being.
Even the slightest breeze was a blessing, a temporary relief in the relentless embrace of the African sun.
Curiosity was endless, even for the smallest of creatures. A safe exploration of their vibrant world. With the easing heat, the energy returned. The rhythm of the day pulled them back into motion, back to the search. Even a dry waterhole held information. The tracks told a story of where others had gone, where water might still be found.
Trusting the wisdom of the wild. Following the paths of others, a constant strategy for survival.
A hidden gem, a life-giving spring. The reward for their persistence, a taste of pure, cool water.
Every drop was precious.
Finding ways, however temporary, to carry this liquid gold was a new, vital skill. A dangerous opportunity. A carcass meant meat, but the cost could be a sudden, deadly confrontation. Decision-making was communal. Every choice, a life or death gamble, negotiated by shared experience and intuition.
Experience often led the way. The elders' wisdom, a guiding light through the shadow of danger.
This was where the simple stone truly shone. A primitive knife, a bone-crushing hammer, unlocking the very heart of their meals. A brutal, messy business, but entirely necessary. Every shred of meat, every drop of marrow, a prize won.
Teamwork was their lifeblood. While some risked, others watched, a synchronized dance of survival.
The warning. The true owner of the kill was returning. It was time to run, to live to scavenge another day. Back to the relative safety of the branches. A narrow escape, a testament to their speed and climbing prowess. Their hands, now freed by upright walking, were becoming adept tools for more than just carrying. They were for catching. The rains brought new opportunities. Small fish, now more visible, a tempting, protein-rich prize.
Just nature's small gifts. Even the morning dew offered a fleeting moment of refreshment. Every step was deliberate. The slick morning dew added a new layer of challenge to their daily descent.
Then, the sun's embrace. The mist receded, unveiling a fresh, sparkling world. The savanna sometimes wore a shroud of mist, transforming the familiar into something mysterious, delaying their descent. Even in the deepest night, lessons were absorbed. The quiet presence of the elders, a source of comfort and unconscious teaching. As darkness enveloped the land, the trees became their stronghold, a temporary haven against the nocturnal world below. Despite the danger, the rewards were immense. Protein, fat, energy, vital for their growing brains and bodies. The king of the plains, asserting its dominance. Their world was a harsh hierarchy, and they knew their place. Communal sleeping was a strategy not lust for safety, but also for sharing body heat.
The shade of a single tree could offer crucial respite from the brutal midday sun.
They weren't just grassland dwellers. Rocky areas offered both shelter and unique foraging opportunities. Moving through tall grass was always a calculated risk. You never knew what lay hidden within. Even stubborn nuts yielded their precious calories to the power of a well-aimed stone. Every sunset marked the end of another day, filled with the constant dance of survival. Grooming wasn't just about hygiene. It was a crucial way to bond and reinforce social ties.
Play was essential, allowing the young to develop skills and explore their world in a safe way.
Termite mounds were miniature protein factories, and our ancestors learned how to tap into them.
Rivers offered fresh water, but also lurking dangers like crocodiles, making approach cautious.
Generations passed down vital knowledge.
The elements were unforgiving, and even a strong wind could make life difficult. Rain brought life, transforming the dry landscape into a temporary abundance of fresh food. Nature's raw power was a constant presence, from storms to these swirling columns of dust.
Reading the tracks told them stories, what animals had passed, and how recently.
Simple gestures were powerful ways to share vital information, from food to danger. Speed and agility were often their first and best defense against predators. Even with bipedalism, trees still offered safety and sometimes food. From above, they gained a different perspective, spotting things they'd miss on the ground. Every leaf, every berry, contributed to their survival in a resource-scarce world. The night brought its own challenges, but also a mysterious beauty under the watchful moon. Scavenging from larger predators was risky, but a major source of crucial fat and protein. Bone marrow, a hidden treasure, provided high-calorie energy they desperately needed. This wasn't just brute force. It required finesse and an understanding of the material. Sharing such a valuable resource strengthened their social bonds and ensured group survival.
Their tools weren't just made, they were carried, a constant extension of their capabilities.
The next generation was already learning, internalizing the critical skills for their future. Every sunrise brought new challenges and opportunities, a fresh start in the ancient savanna.
The rhythm of the herbivores was a constant backdrop to their daily lives. Their lives demanded constant focus, every decision a potential matter of life or death.
Careful assessment of the environment was key to avoiding hidden dangers.
Clothes. Even small water crossings required attention, as hidden risks always lurked.
Every new food source was a valuable discovery, adding to their survival toolkit. They learned by trial and error, a slow but effective way to expand their knowledge.
Natural shelters were invaluable when the savanna weather turned unpredictable.
Those sudden deluges could refresh the land, but also bring immediate challenges.
Ingenuity meant finding ways to make the most of what nature provided, even rainwater. After the storm, a moment of breathtaking beauty, a reminder of nature's endless wonders.
These quiet moments of connection were as vital as food and water for their well-being. Infants traveled with their mothers, always close, always protected.
High ground offered safety and a strategic overview of their territory.
These simple stones were their enduring tools, used for countless tasks.
Sometimes, even in the mundane, nature offered unexpected moments of wonder.
The cool, misty mornings were a brief respite before the sun's relentless return.
Even in low visibility, their instincts guided them to food and safety.
Their senses were heightened, relying more on sound and smell in the fog.
No food source was overlooked, especially those packed with protein.
As the mist cleared, the world gradually revealed itself once more, ready for another day. Even during the day, finding a comfortable and concealed spot for a nap was important.
Their hearing was incredibly acute, picking up sounds far beyond human range.
They witnessed the brutal realities of the food chain daily, a constant lesson in survival.
Moving as a unit offered safety and efficiency in their foraging efforts.
Honey was a rare, sugary treat, worth the wrist of angry bees.
That burst of sweetness was a powerful reward in their often bland diet.
Even a fallen tree could become a temporary source of food and shelter.
Nothing was wasted. Every part of their environment was a potential resource.
Beyond food, the savanna offered plants for medicine or materials, if you knew where to look. The first steps towards cordage and weaving were likely taken with simple plant fibers.
Annoying insects were a constant nuisance, especially near water sources.
Moments of stillness were rare, but offered a chance to reflect, just like this tranquil water. Perhaps, in these quiet moments, they began to recognize themselves, distinct from the world around them. Even wooden tools could be improved with the right stone, making them more effective. These natural landmarks offered consistent shelter from the sun's harsh rays. 4 million years ago, every day was a lesson, every challenge shaping the future of humanity.
And so, life continued, adapting, evolving, forever changed by the tools and grasslands.
Survival meant constantly searching, and even with a tiny passenger, every opportunity for food was seized. While one gathered, another watched, their safety a collective responsibility in a world teeming with threats. Every calorie counted, and even small, ground-dwelling fruits were a valuable part of their diet. Safety in numbers was paramount, so they rarely strayed far from their small, cohesive unit. When surface food was scarce, they knew to dig, unearthing hidden sustenance beneath the parched earth. Simple tools, like a strong stick, transformed the impossible into a manageable task. Hard-won food was always shared, strengthening the bonds of their small, interdependent families. The grasslands could be unforgiving, with long stretches of dry earth testing their endurance.
Dust devils were familiar companions, harmless yet stark reminders of the parched land.
Finding water in these dry spells was a daily miracle, a life-sustaining discovery.
Every drop was precious, and they used nature's containers to carry what they could.
The midday sun was a relentless adversary, forcing them to seek any available refuge. Every fiber of their being yearned for cooler air, for a break from the oppressive heat. Even in their harsh existence, moments of simple play and curiosity shone through. The young were their hope, their future, nurtured with quiet devotion and watchful eyes.
As the sun began its descent, the world began to breathe again, and so did they.
Night brought new dangers, so finding a secure place to rest was always their evening priority. The trees offered protection from ground predators, a familiar refuge from the lurking shadows. Those on the ground formed a tight-knit cluster, relying on each other's presence for safety. Even in sleep, a part of them remained alert, attuned to every rustle and distant cry of the night.
The calls of the wild were constant reminders of their precarious place in the food chain.
Their vigilance was unwavering, their simple tools ready for any confrontation. And then, the gentle promise of a new day, painting the sky with hues of hope. With the rising sun, the rhythm of survival began anew, another chapter unfolding in their ancient story. Each morning brought the thrill of the unknown, the constant search for food and safety. A flash of color, a welcome sight. Berries meant a quick, sweet boost of energy. Foraging was a peaceful, shared activity, a moment of collective satisfaction. The simple taste of sweet fruit was a luxury, a rare delight in their tough lives. But even during meals, their senses were never fully at rest, always attuned to their surroundings. The sudden flight of birds was a universal alarm, a clear signal of unseen trouble. Their instincts, honed over millennia, told them to prepare for the unknown. The true rulers of the grasslands, these formidable predators were a constant, terrifying presence. Their best defense was often invisibility, melting away into the protective embrace of the tall grass. Hidden, they watched the terrifying hunter pass, their hearts pounding in their chests.
Even the young understood the silent command: stay still, stay quiet.
Slowly, the threat receded, leaving behind a profound sense of relief and renewed caution. They emerged, forever changed by the encounter, their senses even more sharpened. Even scraps left by others held value, a chance for a vital, protein-rich meal. Marrow was a fatty, energy-dense prize, and they developed the crude tools to extract it.
A small but significant victory, a testament to their growing ingenuity and resourcefulness.
Scavenging was a collective effort, a risky but often rewarding strategy. This simple yet revolutionary act of using tools to process food dramatically expanded their diet.
The next generation learned by watching, absorbing the crucial skills passed down through imitation.
Grooming was more than hygiene. It was a vital social ritual, reinforcing community bonds.
These tactile interactions built trust, calming nerves, and solidifying their social fabric.
Curiosity was key, but so was caution, as they learned to navigate their complex environment. Elders provided subtle guidance, teaching the young the boundaries of safety and danger.
New landscapes presented new resources, a chance to diversify their toolkit and knowledge.
They quickly recognized the value, gathering these natural blades for future use. This natural sharpness was a revelation, a significant upgrade in their ability to process food.
Volcanic rock, naturally sharp, offered an even better cutting edge than their river stones.
With these sharper tools, they could access more of a carcass, wasting less, gaining more nutrients. Their toolus extended beyond smashing. A simple stick could be a powerful extractor.
A small, squirming meal, but a vital one, contributing to their diverse diet.
Their survival depended on an intimate knowledge of their environment, a living encyclopedia of edibles. Beyond food, certain plants offered healing, a subtle yet profound understanding of nature's pharmacy. These ancient remedies, passed down through generations, were crucial for treating ailments.
Within the valley's embrace, they found a night of greater tranquility, a temporary respite from constant vigilance.
These moments of quiet connection nurtured not just individuals, but the very fabric of their evolving society.
Not every tool was the right tool. Sometimes, even with an idea, the material just wasn't up to the task, leading to a moment of primal head-scratching.
But the savannah was a workshop. Everywhere lay potential solutions, if you only knew how to see them, how to pick the right answer. This wasn't random. There was an understanding of physics here, a tactile intelligence that knew what would work and what wouldn't. The perfect combination: an anvil, a hammer, and the knowledge to apply just the right amount of force. Success. A small victory, but one that opened up new food sources, expanding their diet and their chances of survival.
That rich, nutritious reward. The taste of problem solving, the taste of progress, fueling not just their bodies but their minds.
Learning through observation was key. These moments, simple as they seemed, were how knowledge spread, how culture began to form. Teaching, not just doing, the conscious transfer of skills, ensuring the next generation inherited the wisdom of the past. We've hit 600 scenes.
Once discovered, the principle of hammer and anvil quickly expanded. It was not just for nuts, it was for unlocking a whole new pantry of the savannah.
More food, more calories, more options. This simple innovation wasn't just a convenience, it was a game changer for their diet and energy levels.
Collaboration made it even more efficient, a natural division of labor emerging, enhancing the group's overall productivity.
Their world was literally opening up. Areas once ignored now offered bounty, expanding their range and reducing competition. Practice wasn't just for adults. The young were constantly honing skills, from throwing to climbing, preparing for their own futures.
The gentle guidance of elders. A silent, constant mentorship, shaping the abilities of the next generation.
Water was always a prize, but also a risk. Stagnant pools could hide dangers, demanding caution and collective assessment.
Even rudimentary hygiene. Simple acts, born of observation, to make their vital water source safer to consume.
Every drink was a calculated risk. The savannah's dangers never truly receded, especially at vulnerable waterholes.
Their lives were an endless journey, a constant negotiation with the elements. Tiny beings in an immense, beautiful, and unforgiving world. Their toolkit wasn't just stone. Wood, too, offered endless possibilities, for digging, for defense, for extending their reach, shaping their world, even with brute force. Understanding the properties of materials, making them work for their needs. Digging for dinner. A simple stick, but it unlocked another hidden larder, revealing the treasures beneath the surface. Hard-won calories. These underground stores were often more reliable than surface plants, especially in drier seasons.
Teamwork in motion. Navigating dense terrain together, ensuring no one got lost. No one was left vulnerable.
Their senses were their first line of defense. Every unusual sound, every rustle, demanded immediate and full attention.
The false alarm. A constant cycle of tension and release, a mental landscape shaped by the ever-present threat.
Childhood was a time of exploration, of innocent discovery. Even in a harsh world, there were moments of simple, unburdened joy. The watchful eyes of the group. Parenthood wasn't just about providing, it was about constant, vigilant protection.
As the day waned, the urgency shifted. The search for sustenance gave way to the need for shelter.
Nightfall was the most dangerous time. Finding the right spot, a place offering some protection, was a critical decision for the group's survival. Experience guided them, knowing which thicket offered the best defense, which spot minimized their exposure to the lurking shadows. Even a good spot needed vetting. The scent of a predator, a fresh track, they were warnings they couldn't afford to ignore.
They weren't just seeking shelter, they were actively creating it, enhancing nature's defenses with their own ingenuity.
Comfort was a small luxury, but an important one. A softer bed could mean better rest, better alertness for the challenges ahead.
The young were always at the heart of their defense, the most vulnerable, therefore the most protected, ensuring the future of the lineage.
A living barrier. The adults, constantly vigilant, their senses tuned to the whispers of the night.
Protection went hand in hand with teaching, guiding the young away from hazards, instilling the vital lessons of survival.
The night belonged to others. The roars and calls, a constant reminder of the power.
Sleep was never absolute. A primal alertness, a part of their brain always listening, always ready.
Another day, another beginning. Shaking off the night's chill, ready to face the world with renewed purpose.
The morning ritual of assessment. Reading the earth like a book, understanding who had passed through in the darkness.
Every track told a story, where the big animals roamed, where opportunities might arise, or where danger might still linger.
Water was a lifeline, carving paths through the plains. Following its course meant easier travel and more reliable resources.
The riparian zones, ecological treasures. A microhabitat offering shade, moisture, and a bounty of plant foods not found elsewhere.
Curiosity was innate. Even simple wonders, like flowing water, sparked their nascent intellect, their desire to understand. Protection went hand in hand with teaching, guiding the young away from hazards, instilling the vital lessons of survival. The river, a source of not just water, but tools. The constant search for useful objects, shaped by nature's own hand.
Experimentation was constant. How could this be used? Could it make another tool better? The seeds of engineering, in their simplest form.
A dynamic existence, where every moment was about interacting with their world. Learning, adapting, enduring.
The stream's edge was a frontier, where life met its end, and new opportunities arose.
Scavenging was a vital skill, but it demanded sharp senses and careful judgment. What was safe? What was dangerous?
Their tools weren't just for plants. That sharp flake made a difference, allowing them to access precious protein that would otherwise be out of reach. A shared find was a shared meal. Every bit of protein a valuable boost for the whole group, especially the young and vulnerable. The savanna's constant tension. Even a moment of feasting could be interrupted by the sudden, chilling whisper of an unseen threat. A new kind of predator. The water's silent hunter, a reminder that danger came in many forms, from many directions. Flight was often the best defense. Their speed and agility on 2 feet, a vital asset against such a powerful, ancient foe.
A close call. The predator, a silent menace, ever present in the waters that sustain them.
The memory of the encounter would linger. A lesson reinforced. In moments of fear, the strength of the group was everything. Reassurance, protection, a shared understanding. This wasn't just tool-making. This was education. Passing down crucial survival knowledge, one generation to the next. And in that moment, a connection is made across time. The knowledge is passed, and the cycle of innovation continues.
They walked the earth, not just as foragers, but as pioneers. Every step was a step into the future of what humanity would become. Under these same stars, maybe the first big questions were asked. The first sparks of true curiosity about the universe. These tools are their legacy. The first messages sent across the millennia, telling us, we were here.
Buried by time, they waited. Silent witnesses to a changing world, waiting millions of years to be rediscovered. The climate wasn't static. It was a force of its own, constantly testing their resilience and forcing them to adapt or disappear.
Each change in the environment was a new question posed by nature, and survival depended on finding the right answer.
Their communication was becoming more complex. The building blocks of language were being laid.
It's in these moments you see it. Not just instinct, but the beginning of genuine empathy and care for one another. When the rains failed, they had to innovate, using tools not just for food, but to find life-giving water.
This is the essence of our story, seeing a problem, creating a solution, and reaping the rewards. It started right here.
And remember, they weren't alone. Other branches of the human family tree were out here too, exploring different paths to survival. Different species, sharing the same world. One would lead to us, the other to a dead end. But they didn't know that then. The real change was happening inside. Every tool made, every social interaction, was rewiring their brains.
The bond between mother and child, the foundation of our social world, was as strong then as it is now.
They were learning that together they were stronger, that cooperation could solve problems no single individual could. They were developing foresight, the ability to look ahead, to plan, to think beyond the immediate moment.
These weren't the eyes of an ape anymore. They were the eyes of an ancestor, looking towards the dawn of humanity.
Try to imagine it, walking this world, tool in hand, with a new way of thinking taking shape in your mind. When the rains failed, they had to innovate, using tools not just for food, but to find life-giving water.
They were becoming aware of the strangeness and history of their own world, finding objects that sparked wonder.
They faced the end of life with, perhaps, the first glimmers of shared grief and a sense of loss. But for every end, there was a new beginning. The chain of generations remained unbroken.
Their journey was far from over. In fact, in the grand scheme of things, it was just getting started.
Their hands were the key. Capable of both brute force and delicate skill, they were the perfect tools for shaping the future. With tools, no food source was truly safe. They became masters of unlocking the calories hidden within nature's defenses.
And it all happened here, in the Great Rift Valley of Africa, the geological stage for the dawn of humankind.
This environment, with its unique challenges and resources, was the forge that shaped them. They shared this world with giants, a constant reminder of their place in the intricate web of life. Survival meant paying attention to the small details. The tiny threats could be just as deadly as the large ones. But it wasn't all struggle. There were moments of calm, of community, of simply existing together. Was this the first art? The first time a mark was made not for a purpose, but just for the sake of making it? Their lives were fleeting, their marks on the world temporary. All except for two things.
The footprints they left behind, miraculously preserved.
And the stone tools that litter the floor of the Rift Valley.
They are the first chapter in our story, the foundation upon which everything else was built. From these humble beginnings, a new kind of mind was born.
A mind that would learn to control fire, to create art, to build civilizations.
But it all started here, 4 million years ago, on the grasslands of Africa. They left an impression on the world, both literally and figuratively.
Their world was a complex tapestry of light and shadow, opportunity and danger. And in this world, they learned the most important skill of all: how to adapt. The tool may have changed, but the drive to create, to connect, to understand, that's their gift to us. Like a river, their lineage flowed through time, through new species and new challenges.
Connecting them to the earth, the sky, and to the future.
They were a family, looking out into the darkness, on the very edge of becoming human. And in their eyes, you can see the reflection of a journey that would eventually lead to us.
From one small corner of Africa, their descendants would inherit the entire planet.
A 4 million-year-old story that began with a single step.